Okay, grade 8, I want to talk to you about this task, investigation. You should have it on a piece of paper. Make sure you write your name on your task, please. Okay, you may not take it home. You have to hand it in at the end of the lesson, and if we still need more time, you'll get it back again. Now, this is a task for marks. It's called an investigation. Remember, we do investigations and assignments. And this one here, you can see it says investigation. When we do an investigation, it's to find out something interesting. And you can see here I have a picture of something that does not look like maths. It's an elephant and a mouse. So our investigation is about the surface area and volume of cubes, rectangular prisms, and triangular prisms. Now we know lots about volume because we did volume previously at school. Volume is like, if you think about an animal like my elephant over here and my mouse, your volume is what is inside you, but your surface area is like your skin, okay? So if you look at my elephant and the mouse and you think of the elephant's skin and the mouse's skin, the elephant's got really big ears. That makes his skin quite a bit bigger, but he's got no hair. And the mouse has got hair because the mouse has got hair. So in biology, we talk about surface area and volume a lot. So I want you to think about the animals. The animals have got nothing to do with the task when it comes to the maths in the task, but they're to help you think about why we should talk about surface area and volume. So elephants have got big ears because of their surface area to volume ratio. An elephant is really big and really heavy, okay? And it makes a lot of heat when it eats its food and its food digests. And the elephant actually struggles to get rid of its heat because it loses its heat out of its skin. So elephants got giant ears so that they could flap their ears and all the blood flows through the ears and gets cold when the ear flaps, and then the blood goes inside the body and makes the elephant cold. But on the other hand, a mouse is teeny tiny and a mouse is covered in fur, and that's because the mouse has actually got not so much volume inside, but it's got a lot of skin compared to its volume. So it's got a big surface area and a small volume. So mice lose heat really, really fast. And elephants don't. So this is one of the things that I want you to think about with surface area and volume. Why would we even be interested in surface area and volume? And one of the reasons is because it's what happens in nature. And I like nature, and I like elephants and mice. I actually like mice more than I like elephants. So you won't believe it, but there are scientists who have gone and found the surface area of an elephant. And an elephant has a surface area of 170,000 square centimeters and a volume of 3.5 million cubic centimeters, okay? So if I put surface area to volume as a ratio, I put the surface area on top and the ratio on the bottom, and then I simplify my ratio by dividing by the small number, and then I end up with these two numbers. One is to 0,049, okay? That's for the elephant. If I do exactly the same thing with a mouse, and there are scientists, believe me, who've figured out exactly how big the skin on a mouse is, which is its surface area, that's 79 square centimeters, and the volume of the mouse is only 26 cubic centimeters. So if we put those in a ratio here, you can see that for the mouse, the surface area is the big number, but for the elephant, the surface area is the small number. So the mouse, when we do surface area to volume and we make a fraction, the mouse ends up at 3:1. Okay, so it means it's got 3 times as much skin per volume as an elephant does, which is why elephants have to flap their ears to get cold. Okay, so I want you to think about your surface area to volume ratio, and when you think about it, you need to think about your cube's surface area is like the skin on your cube or your rectangular prism, and the volume is how much is inside. Remember, a volume is 3 dimensions, and the surface area will be something flat. It will be 2 dimensions. Okay, so think about the surface area as the skin and the volume as what's inside. So, what is your actual maths task now that we finished talking about the elephants? It says, today you'll investigate what happens to the surface area of different prisms if you double the volume. Now, do we even know what a prism is? If you don't know what a prism is, turn to the back page of your task and you will see some prisms on the back page of your task. Look here, I've got them on my computer screen here. Here, over here, can you see over here is a rectangular prism. So this is a rectangular prism, this one's a triangular prism, and we all know what a cube looks like. So we're going to see what happens to these shapes when I make them bigger. What happens to the volume inside? What happens to their skin? You have to think about it, and if you just close your eyes and think about it, if you double the volume of, say, a mouse, do you think its skin should double? Okay, now look at your shapes. What's going to happen if I make them twice the size? So let's go back to the task. You've looked at the pictures on the back page. Let's go back to the task here. Okay, so it says, for a rectangular prism, now we're going to do this 3 times. We're going to do the rectangular prism, we're going to do the triangular prism, and we're going to do the cube. Okay, so it says use your blocks. These are my blocks. They should be on the table somewhere. And I've also got a box with the shapes in that you can look at to see what the prism looks like. Okay, so remember, a prism is just a word for a 3-dimensional shape. So it says use your blocks to build a prism that has a length of 3, a width of 4, and a height of 2. Then it says find the volume and surface area of your prism. If you don't have the blocks, you can look at the diagrams, these diagrams that are on page 3. So here's the first thing you must make or think about. Here is a rectangular prism. It has a height of 2, and then this on the bottom is 4, and then this on the other side is 3. So this is the height, the width, and the length. Okay, so in the task here, can you see inside the table? Here is a line here. This line here says original prism over here. Original prism. And then it's got a length of 3, just like in step 1, a width of 4, and a height of 2. You have to find the volume of this cube. Now you should remember from grade 7 that volume is length times breadth times height. Okay, so if you don't remember that your teacher gave you some pieces of paper with formula sheets for perimeter, area, total surface area, and volume. So you can get out your maths helper book and you can look at these formulas as well. I'm going to go to the right page here. Look, here is a page for volume, and it's got here the different shapes, and it says to you what is the volume of a cube. It's if you take the side and you raise it to the power 3, and if you have a rectangular prism, it's breadth times length times height of the prism. So I want you right now, see this formula here for a rectangular prism? I want you right now to write that formula onto your sheet over here. Where this volume is, in pencil, right next to it, this is the formula for volume. And then you're going to use your calculator and you're going to give me an answer in this box over here. What is the volume of the prism? Okay, then our job is not done. We're going to leave the surface area for the moment. I'll come back to the surface area. Now I say to you, what happens in step 2 if you make your prism longer? Okay, you can't make it fatter, you can't make it taller, you can just make it longer. So look at the pictures here. Here's my original prism, 2 by 4 by 3. Now I want to take the length and make it longer. Look over here. Here's my original prism. Can you see my original prism? And I made a copy of it like this. So then I put my original prism and I snapped it onto the new copy, the red one. And that's what your picture's made from. 2 is the same height, 4 is the same width, but I made it twice as long. And the original one was 3, so now it is 6. Okay, so here when in step 2 it says using your blocks double the length of the prism. So now I've got 6, 4 and 2. The prism is double the size. Now use your formula that you wrote down, find the volume. Then for step 3 it says double the width. So now we're going to do the same thing again. Look over here what's happened over here. I took my original prism. See, here's my original prism on the left here. Sorry, let's go sideways. Here's my original prism. And then I took it over here. Can you see over here? And then I put another one exactly the same next to it. I didn't make it taller. This time I didn't make it longer the other way. I just changed the width. So the original width was 4. And now my original width is what? It is now 4 plus 4. So you're going to go here and you're going to write the new width in this box. We took the original prism's width, okay? See, here's the original width and we multiplied it by 2. And then we're going to find the volume again. Now we're going to do it. We're going to look at the height. So you get your prism. Remember, here's my original prism and here's a copy of it. And you go and you take your original prism. Can you see here is my original prism, and you put the copy and you don't make it longer, you don't make it wider. This time you just make it taller. Okay, so it was 2 tall, now it is 2 plus 2 tall. So come back to your data sheet here and say this one is the height times 2. So height in here is going to be 2 times 2, fill in the number. I'm sure you all know what's 2 times 2. And then you have the formula for volume here. You need to figure out the volume over here. Okay, I'm going to stop here now. You need to figure out, look at the pictures on the 3rd page. Make sure you've got the formula for volume and work out one row at a time. First, my original shape, what is its volume? Then what is the volume of the shape if I make it 2 times longer? See here, the length is now 6. And then I find what is the volume. You can use your calculator. And then here is what happens if I took my original prism but I made it 2 times wider. So take the original width, multiply it by 2, fill in this box, find the volume. Then the last one we're going to do is take the height and make the height. The height was originally 2. What is the height going to be now? Then we're going to find the volume. Okay, I'm going to stop here now, and then you must fill in the volume for the rectangular prism.